Goya CEO believes riots are pushing Hispanics into the arms of Trump. Well, at least into the polling booth voting for Trump. FBI and DOJ clean up FISA. It's about time, right? Divorce is popular during COVID-19. Well, that's sad. Yeah, gets no tax returns. And United Airlines won't be flying the friendly skies. Well, at least not as much. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Daily Facts. So we're going to start things out with the Goya CEO. Destruction and hatred tearing down businesses, driving Latinos to Trump. And I'm sure Trump is not complaining. This is a good thing. Immigrants to the U.S. seek prosperity, and prosperity is not accomplished if we're going to tear things down, cancel things, President and CEO Goya Foods told Just the News. The immigrant community are builders, and they work hard. Amid riots, looting, and violence in the streets, Goya Foods CEO says polling showing President Trump's support rising among Latinos is because Latinos arriving in America seeking opportunity don't come to tear things down, cancel things. And he's so right. Most people don't want to do that. It's a small fraction of society, in my humble opinion. A new Hill Harris X poll conducted last week found support for Trump among Hispanic voters growing by 2 points from 30% in the last poll to 32%. After the 2016 election, the Atlantic noticed exit polls analyzed by the Pew Research Center show that 28% of Latino voters supported Trump, and that figure had risen to 30% support as of February. As Domenico Montanaro put it in June 2026, analysis of an NPR PBS NewsHour Marist poll, the one group Biden continues to underperform with slightly is Latinos. 59% of Latinos said they'd vote for Biden over Trump, but Clinton won 66% of their votes in 2016. Well, maybe because Biden isn't a viable candidate and everybody knows it and everybody sees it. I mean, it's clear as day. He can't even string together two sentences coherently. If he's on a teleprompter, he does okay. But for the most part, he's, thumbs down. Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha, a Latino activist and author of the book Tio Bernie, served as a Bernie 2020 senior advisor. Rocha on Twitter warned his fellow Democrats cynical about the strong Latino voices on stage at the Republican National Convention last week. Democrats, dismiss what you're seeing in the Republican convention at your own peril, Rocha wrote. I have seen and done research with persuadable Latinos voters that confirms what you're seeing does cut into the margins, and your woke white consultants aren't going to save us. Okay, well, he's telling you right there. He's spelling it out. The rise in support for Trump is due to fatigue over all the destruction and hatred tearing down businesses by people, a lot of people that are from outside the community. Because if you're within the community, you're building it. You don't want to tear down what you just built. Well, that's true. We need to take the path of loving and building. And that's why we're looking at prosperity. How do we get our country back on our feet and prosper in all aspects? So let's love. Let's build. Yeah, love a little, right? Oh boy, what are we going to do here? In July, the CEO of Goya said Americans were blessed to have a leader in Trump. And I couldn't agree more. We're all truly blessed at the same time to have a leader like President Trump, who is a builder. And that's what my grandfather did. He came to this country to build, to grow, to prosper. Well, that's right. Well, I think this is a great thing. And the fact that we have more Hispanic voters coming to Trump is fantastic. It's fantastic. I'm also happy to hear that FISA is getting a facelift. So Christopher Wray and AG Bill Barr are working together to fix the serious problems of FISA. So this is also from Just the News. FISA DOJ announced sweeping new FISA reforms in aftermath of Russia debacle. So changes include creation of new audit office to ensure accuracy of surveillance warrant applications. Okay, well, they definitely needed that when President Trump was, you know, going rogue, him and his administration, over FISA and unmasking and all of that. But let's get into this. Seeking to address massive failures during the Russia probe, FBI Director Chris Wray and Attorney General William Barr announced Tuesday sweeping new reforms to ensure future warrants targeting Americans under the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, are accurate, legal, and free from political influence. Well, thank you, and thank you, because we know none of that was going on at the tail end of Obama's administration. Like I say, they were doing everything in their power to get President Trump. The changes include the creation of a new audit office to review FISA applications and new vetting to ensure the accuracy of agents' evidence when seeking to spy on U.S. citizens. The Justice Department also created new protocol governing when surveillance can be conducted on elected officials and candidates for office. The changes, memorialized in two separate memos, are an outgrowth of a DOJ Inspector General report last December that identified 17 instances of misconduct, erroneous evidence, factual omissions, and mistakes in the pursuit of a FISA application targeting former Trump advisor Carter Page during the Russia collusion investigation. Last month, a former FBI lawyer pleaded guilty to falsifying evidence during the probe. Let me just take you back to my page real quick, and former FBI agent Kevin Kleinsmith is who they're talking about. And I break down the court case and just go into, I read through the indictment. We know that he pled guilty, and he'll be sentenced later this year. So we'll have to keep a watchful eye on that, right? So FISA is a critical tool to ensuring the safety and security of Americans, particularly when it comes to fighting terrorism. However, the American people must have confidence that the United States government will exercise its surveillance authorities in a manner that protects the civil liberties of Americans, avoid interference in political process, and complies with the Constitution and laws of the United States, Barr said. You go, Bill Barr. You go. You're absolutely right. Now, you know, a lot of people lost during this whole FISA. Like I say, Carter Page, you know, just a lot of people, Papadopoulos, I mean, Paul Manafort, a lot of people were affected, not necessarily by FISA, but just by this whole mess of Russia. Well, speaking of people losing in the world of marriage, well, we can't say that there was any marriage involved in Russia. But there's a lot of people that are, well, getting a divorce. Yeah, it's pretty sad. The numbers are quite high. So let's get into this. U.S. divorce rates skyrocket amid COVID-19 pandemic. So this is from the New York Post. Divorce rates have spiked in the U.S. during the coronavirus pandemic as couples have been stuck at home for months. The number of people looking for divorces was 34% higher from March through June compared to 2019, according to a new data collected legal templates, a company that provides legal documents. The combination of stress, you think, unemployment, financial strain, although President Trump is working on that unemployment, Financial strain, President Trump is also working on that, giving people that have filed unemployment, giving them more money, helping people to stay in their homes. He has put a hold on the student loans. So President Trump is in there for the people. So that financial strain he's lessening. Death of loved ones, illness, homeschooling children, mental illness, and more has put a significant strain on relationships. I had a significant strain just reading that. I mean, just imagine. And what if you're just newlywed? I mean, can you imagine? Because people are used to going about their daily lives. They leave the house, they go to work, they have friends they hang out with. They're not together 24/7 in a locked home, locked down in a home. That's not how life operates. So when you're together for hours on end, days, weeks, and months, you're going to see this. And it's unfortunate. So, yeah. This uptick could coincide with the health and human services professionals refer to as the disillusionment phase of disaster, the time when optimism turns to discouragement, stress heightens, and negative reactions often occur, the group wrote. They also found that newlyweds took the hardest hit. Here you go. See, newlyweds, I'm not surprised. In fact, 20% of couples who sought divorce who were married within the past 5 months or less, compared to the just 11% in 2019, doubling the rate. Unbelievable. It's possible that divorce rates will continue to rise as economic, financial, social, institutional, and psychological turmoil from the COVID-19 virus unfolds, concluded legal templates. But I disagree. President Trump is bringing that hope back with all of the things I just outlined a moment ago, right? So, speaking of people losing in the world, right? I'm sure, Democrats are losing the fight to see President Trump's tax returns. Yeah, it's they just won't seem to let up. But court shields Trump tax returns likely until after election. All right, this is a good thing. A federal appeals court Tuesday granted President Donald Trump a temporary reprieve in the long-running fight over his tax returns. And this is a long-running fight. I mean, they have been attacking President Trump since he got into office. They have not let up, from getting his tax returns to Russia to impeachment, which failed, I might add. It just goes on and on. Barring Manhattan's top prosecutor from getting the records, while Trump's lawyers embark on another bid to overturn the subpoena seeking them. I mean, they're going to go I was just going to say they're going to go to the Supreme Court. With the temporary stay in place and Trump exiting and return to the Supreme Court, it's unlikely that this case will be resolved or any tax returns will be turned over before the November election, which probably burns the Democrats up, right? They just are seething right now. They want those tax returns. Well, I want Joe Biden's tax returns. I want Kamala Harris's tax returns. I want Nancy Pelosi's tax returns. I want Adam Schiff's tax returns. I want, let's see, Auntie, what do they call her? Auntie Waters. I want her tax returns. I want the lot of them. I want all of their tax returns, and I want somebody to sift through them day and night. Trump's lawyers argued that a stay keeping the tax returns under wraps will protect him from irreparable harm, such as leaks from secret grand jury proceedings, while they appeal a lower court ruling 2 weeks ago that granted Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr.'s office access to Trump's tax returns. I don't know. Trump lawyer Jay Sekulow said they were pleased with the ruling. A message seeking comment was left with Vance's spokesperson. Trump's lawyers appealed to the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals last month after a district court judge rejected their renewed efforts to invalidate a subpoena issued to his accounting firm. A hearing on the merits of the appeal is scheduled for September 25th. Well, I'm sure President Trump is flying high on this victory, but we can't say the same for the United Airlines. And it's not funny, it's really quite sad. Um, they're not flying high these days. It's so bad they have to lay off hundreds of thousands of employees. And that just affects so much. It's not just them, it branches out to like people that build planes, Boeing, right? People that create the pieces that build the planes, the manufacturing. It's widespread. It doesn't just stop with United Airlines. But let's take a look at this article. United Airlines plans layoffs if no aid from Washington. Okay, so we know that there was aid prior. President Trump signed a huge bill of trillions of dollars, and United Airlines, along with a lot of other companies, they benefited from that. So United Airlines said Wednesday it plans to lay off up to 16,000 workers amid a prolonged industry downturn due to the coronavirus and the continuing stalemate in Washington over further federal support for this industry. The big U.S. carrier, which had previously said as many as 36,000 workers could be terminated, said early retirement and other programs had lessened the need for even deeper job cuts. But the devastating impacts of COVID-19 on airline travel still required layoffs. And you just wonder what they're doing, what all of these people are doing. I mean, are they, helping in the administrative department, stapling papers together? I mean, they're not out taxiing in, for example, planes, because planes really aren't taking off like they were prior to this. But even with voluntary programs and other cost cutting, the savings have not been enough to avoid involuntary furloughs entirely, the company said. Today, each of our operations leaders communicated directly with their teams to share the heart-wrenching news that approximately 16,000 United employees will be notified of an involuntary furlough effective as early as October 1st. Okay, so furlough, it's like a little hiatus kind of thing. They're just pulling back while we're in this, lockdown. But there is hope that things are definitely going to open up and those people will be coming back and doing their jobs. Trust me, it's coming back. And we have a president that's going to ensure that. So we just have to be patient. We have to be patient. So the announcement comes on the heels layoff warnings from American Airlines and Delta Airlines. So they're not, United isn't the only one. So far, progress on the package has been, well, let's go back here. Unions representing flight attendants, pilots, and other airline workers are holding rallies and engaging in letter writing campaigns to prod Congress to roll out another round of support that would avert layoffs. Well, I'm sure President Trump is working day and night to fix that. So, that's pretty much the gist of it. Airline companies across the board are laying off. And, someone who won't be getting a pink slip anytime soon, although they probably should, is the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, she's out there getting her hair, well, she said washed. I think she was probably getting her hair colored. Although I wonder with Nancy Pelosi's hair, sometimes it's heavy and thick, sometimes it's thin, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long. Personally, I think she's wearing a wig half the time. But she was out at a salon getting her hair done when nobody else could, and it made news, as it should, because, well, I mean, you shouldn't be doing what no one else can do. So let's listen to what Nancy Pelosi had to say about going to this San Francisco hair salon. It's a disgrace.
There are many, over the years, I've been there many times. I appreciate the question. And let me just say this. I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years.
Now, I don't know about you, but it doesn't matter if you've been to the salon and you've taken the word of the salon and you have a relationship with them over the years. None of that matters. The bottom line is nobody's supposed to be doing this. So why are you? Honestly, I can't even act like I'm surprised because this is the behavior of people that make laws and rules but don't abide by them themselves. And Nancy Pelosi is a prime example of that, feeling she's above it all, and she's not really. But, what are you going to do? Like I say, I think that half the time she's wearing a hairpiece. Sometimes her hair is long, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's thick, sometimes it's thin. I don't know. She's probably wearing a wig, but at the end of the day, Nancy Pelosi, you had no right doing what you did. Okay? All right. So thanks for stopping by the Daily Facts. Do like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Bye.